Hi everyone, and welcome back. Today we are really excited to share with you our very first experience, not only in an Emirates business class lounge, but also flying on the A380 from JFK to Dubai in business class. And we know there are a lot of really in-depth Emirates business class vlogs out there, so we're going to keep this short and sweet, sharing with you the highlights of what we think you should know if, like us, you're taking your first long-haul international flight. We began our day taking the SkyTram from the TWA Hotel to Terminal 4, where we checked in, got through security, and made our way to the lounge to spend a couple of hours before boarding our flight. After checking in at the front desk, we took a few minutes to get acquainted with the various seating options, drink stations, and business center before heading over to the buffet to enjoy breakfast, where we felt they had a really great selection of food and drink choices available to make sure that everyone will find something they will enjoy. We did want to note that there is no a la carte dining option at this lounge, and it is also really important to know that this lounge is not open 24/7. For flights departing in the morning, it is open from 6:40 to 10:40 a.m., and for evening flights, it is open from 6:10 to 11 p.m. If you've been following along, you know that we began our journey in South Florida. So at this point, you might be thinking, why didn't they just fly out of Miami International? Well, it's because at the time we were leaving, we found nonstop flights out of Miami were not only more expensive, but we would also be flying on a B777, which is an older Emirates-style aircraft. And since we are budget travelers, we knew that this would most likely be our only chance to fly in Emirates business class, and wanted to be sure to spend our first 12-hour international flight on the newer A380. Not surprisingly, we really enjoyed the experience of our first airport lounge, but before we knew it, it was time to board our flight.
Good morning, Miss White. Your seat is going to be 10 Juliet, second right, please.
Good morning.
Good morning. Miss Ho, your seat is going to be 7 Fox, second right, please.
When doing our research, we learned that the seat setup alternates between the seats being on the aisle and the seats being tucked in. The tucked-in middle row seats allow for a couple traveling together to sit side by side but still have their own individual space. As I show you around my seat, please know I tried to film this as discreetly as possible so not to be a bother to other passengers. Each seat has a minibar, 2 handhelds to control the in-seat entertainment, plugs for charging, a light, and wired over-the-ear headphones. You also have a very large tray table that completely tucks away into your side console. In addition to being able to control the in-seat entertainment from the 2 devices I previously showed, the monitor itself is also a touchscreen. Each passenger is provided a toiletry bag, slippers, an eye mask, and super comfy PJs that are all yours to take when you reach your destination. Both mine and Steve's kits included some really thoughtful products that came in really great bags that we will definitely be keeping even after the toiletries are gone. Bathrooms on board had to be some of the best smelling restrooms I have ever been in. They also had additional dental kits, lotions, and feminine hygiene products available for your use. The food offerings began shortly after we took off with lunch, but the menu offerings from drinks to snacks to meals was truly impressive, and the food quality and cabin crew service were truly outstanding. To start, I had the Arabic meze, and Steve had the shrimp cocktail. We both opted for the lamb shank and rice for lunch, and to ensure our food comas, we also ate dessert. Of course, I couldn't resist the classic New York cheesecake, but Steve went for the chocolate brownie pie off of the Light Bites menu. After a long nap, it was time for breakfast, where I opted for the cold plate, and Steve opted for the pancakes and bacon. The lounge at the rear of business class was where you could find additional snacks and drinks, and even get a chance to chat with other travelers who somehow managed to pry themselves out of their super comfy lay-flat seats. We left JFK at 10:40 a.m., but would be landing in Dubai at 8:10 a.m. the next day, even though our flight was only 12 hours long. So after lunch, seats were converted, PJs were donned, and the cabin lights gave way to twinkling stars overhead as everyone hoped to sleep to avoid that international jet lag. Being budget travelers, we will probably never experience this level of luxury again while flying. And even though all future air travel is probably ruined for us, we wanted to share with you something we learned when booking this Emirates flight that we feel was a true game changer. Once you are on the Emirates website, you will be tempted to begin searching for a flight from your departure airport to your destination airport, selecting your date and your preferred class, as I'm showing here. Our original plan was to fly straight from JFK to our end destination of Bangkok, knowing we would have a small layover in Dubai. As I scroll through the available flights, you can see the 10:40 a.m. flight we took that would land us in Dubai at 8:10 a.m., with our second flight leaving about 90 minutes later to get us into Bangkok at 6:40 p.m. This means our travel day would be over 24 hours long between time in the airport and time in the air. And looking at costs, you can see it would be $5,869 per person for this direct flight. Now, if we start our search over again, but this time click on the advanced search option, we're going to be shown a screen that will allow us to pick multiple departure and arrival destinations. After our initial search, we learned that all flights to Bangkok from New York City fly through Dubai. So with this information, we're able to extend our layover in Dubai from 90 minutes to a week. You could also use this feature to plan a multi-destination itinerary from all of the places Emirates fly. But since we just want to extend our layover in Dubai, we will delete that third line before continuing. I opted to extend our layover from 90 minutes to 7 days, and once your flight options appear on the screen, you'll see you need to select the flight that best fits your travel needs for each leg of your trip. Once your flight selections are made, you can now see our new cost for our flight is $5,893, which is only $24 more than our original flight that only had us in Dubai for 90 minutes. With this option, we would get to explore Dubai for an entire week at essentially no additional airfare cost than our original plan. And for those of you wondering if booking these same example flights separately would be less expensive, let's do that now. After entering the info for the first leg of the example trip, you can see the same 10:40 a.m. flight would be $6,279, not including the second leg from Dubai to Bangkok. Even though this option is already more expensive, in order to make it a fair comparison, let's continue to get the cost for that second leg. I will update the data on the screen to reflect the journey from Dubai to Bangkok a week after landing and hit search. Once the flights populate, you can see the second flight would cost $2,140.99. This means both flights booked separately would be $8,420, which is just over $2,500 more expensive than the last example. I know I've just thrown a lot of numbers at you in these examples, but we still did want to share with you the actual cost of our flight back in November of 2024. Using that advanced search option, our tickets were $4,233.20 each. However, as budget travelers, we knew we could consolidate points from our credit cards over to Emirates Miles to cover the cost of our tickets, leaving us to only pay the taxes and fees in cash. So breaking that down, the on-screen info is what it costs per person per flight. And I know I shared a lot of information in today's video, but I really hope you found it useful, or maybe can share this with someone who will. Because in upcoming videos, we're going to share with you everything we got up to in Dubai, and of course, we'll tell you what everything cost. Thank you so much for watching to the end. We hope you have a great, safe, and happy, healthy new year, and of course, even happier travels.